Hello. Can you hear me all right? Can you hear the music all right? Looks like it's a little loud. Let me turn it down a little bit. Cool. So this is not my gameplay, by the way. This fucking guy. Oh, Zork. How I love the let me count the ways. -3 for this fucking move right here. Fuck this move, okay? I wasn't gonna start with Zork hate, but the game isn't even out. I already hate fucking Zork mains, okay? If you main Zork, you're a terrible human being, and if you do that move behind me one more goddamn fucking time when I don't know you're there and one-shot me with it, I'm gonna give your mother a son she actually cares about, okay? So that's how I feel about Zork. This got really aggressive and hostile right away, but fuck that character. So, I gotta ask, did you see Frog Tits? Yes, we battled Frog Tits. We beat Frog Tits. What is... It's the Lady of the Bog, I think is what that boss is called. Come here, buddy. Sorry, my dog wants to come up. Dog wants to do story time too. Yeah. So yeah, this is Ouroboros footage. I think this is just like what From Software provided to certain Souls-like influencers or Souls and Souls-like influencers. Soulsborne Akiro enthusiasts, and it keeps getting stuck like that. So yeah, I had some thoughts on this. Just like basic thoughts. Will I buy this game? Yes. Do I think it's the best game I've ever played? No. Do I think it's like one of the most unique games I've played in a especially like in a online multiplayer setting? Yeah. Oh, I did want to make a note on that, because I will forget these things. What did I want to do? Okay. Overall I had fun, but I just like the multiplayer online thing, the PvP thing. Again, a lot of us Souls players like the solo experience, and the game is not even out, and it seems already incredibly sweaty. At least from my skill level, which isn't nothing, but like I'm just not used to PvP, and people are hyper aggressive at times, and just like sometimes you just get staggered and you're like, well, I guess I'm just gonna die here. Luckily, the deaths don't count until the last round. You get 2 lives in the last round, so you can fuck up once in the last round, and then after that the last one is like you're out. But basically the way it works, it kind of reminded me of the new mode in Mario Kart 2, the Knockout Tour, where that one is like you're racing, and if you don't make it to like 8th place in time, then if you're in like 9th or below, you get knocked out, and then it's only 8 racers, and then the next lap it's like only 6 racers or whatever. This kind of operated like that, in that there's 4 phases. You start, the first phase is like you're like kind of farming for stuff, power-ups. You get these like summons, which are just little dudes that will like kind of follow you around and help you in different ways. One of them is like more of a passive thing that will heal you. This girl, Nia, will like go after people. She was cool. If I had a favorite character, probably Albert here. I mean, I'm just gonna be real. I know it's basic bitch hours over here that I'm like, the guy from the box or whatever. I think I liked his playstyle the most. I played a little bit with Bloodhand Jan here. Pajama Man, Bloodhand Jan. Somebody said it might be Bloodhand Yan. I don't know. That move is super cool, his ult or whatever. That's the other thing too, is like, they have moves that are only unlockable at a certain level. So that's like one of his, that's his like second more powerful thing. I mean, I guess that's a way to keep you from getting too OP to start, is they have that unlock after a little while of you playing and kind of farming enemies or killing other players. The neat part is that the way this works is that in order to make it to, I think it's called the Blood Bestowal, which is where, you know, you get the moon tears or whatever, which is the ultimate goal, right? And there can only be one. It's like the Highlander, right? There can only be one at the end that gets the moon tears in the battle royale called Blood Bestowal, right? And what was I gonna say about that? Shit, I completely forgot. Oh, you get these virtue points throughout the other 3 phases that determine whether or not you'll be culled or cut from the roster, right? So you can do things like this where he's not even like interacting with other members, but he's just like going in the sewers. And I actually did this. I went and found the sewers and just found, you know, like some more like elite enemies, mini boss people in here, and got virtue points that way. Again, those are how you determine if you're going to be able to like move forward. And these chairs too, these purple chairs that are off to the side here. Oh, I have to go back because, let me see if I can go back. So that thing off to the left, there's a chair with like a corpse in it, and there's like a purple skull thing that you have to interact with. I don't know exactly what the lore is with it, but if you find these chairs, those will give you a lot of times like a lot of virtue points. So like just by exploring and going around, you'll find these in the world in random spots. And it changes every time, it seems like, so it's not like you can guarantee that it's going to be in the spot you found it the last time. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. But those were a pretty consistent strat to like get to the final level. But it's not guaranteed that you'll find it in the spot that you found it the last time. So that was interesting. There seems to be a lot of RNG with like drops and items and power-ups, which is kind of cool, but then there's like, I had an instance the last round that I did. There's these enemies called blood sacks, which are essentially like, they're like the crystal lizard or the wandering madness of the Duskbloods. So they like run away from you, but they have power-ups, right? And you can pick one of 2 power-ups if you kill one of them. They're really cool looking, by the way, too. I don't know if there's like a way I can bring up a picture of them, but they're like these little goblin dudes, but they have like a huge like glass like blood boil on their back. It's really gross, but also like peak dark fantasy design, which I love. It's really cool looking. So you kill those things, the crystal lizards, right? And you'll get power-ups from that, but like this last round that I did, I found like 3 in a row, and I felt like that gave me an upper hand that was like, I just got really OP suddenly, and I was able to make it in the last round. Now, the network test cut off, so I didn't get to see how that turned out, and I was really looking forward to maybe making my first win, because that's the other thing I'll say is like, I've played this now two days in a row, because I played some last night and I played today. I've still not won a match, and the closest I got was I got second twice, and of course, who was the character that beat me every fucking time? Fucking Zork. Zork dorks. Zork mains. 1 brain cell Zork dorks. I heard there's a lot of chances to gain virtue, which is nice. Yeah, and that's kind of what I was saying, is like, there's many different ways to gain virtue. Like, you could get it from killing people that are like your actual online opponents, not just like the environment. But you can get a little bit of virtue from killing these bosses, which I kind of, to my understanding, at least what the kind of like gameplay meta is here is that you don't want to fight like bosses generally in the first phase. First phase is for like farming, leveling up, getting power-ups, exploring the world a little bit. But you don't want to engage with a boss. And it was funny because I kept getting these like summon requests, because you can be in a boss and request that another player come join you to fight the boss. And the neat part with that is that if you do that, your friendly fire is off at that moment. You don't get to fight each other. You're just working co-op suddenly to fight whatever. I think they call them trespassers in this, but they're essentially like roaming bosses that go places. Or they just show up in different places every time, right? So you can join them, kill a boss, y'all get a bunch of virtue points for that, and then you go get transported right back to wherever you left off when you were called in. But the problem was, is like, this last couple of rounds, I think there were like people who were newer to playing it, like even more new than I am, and they were requesting that I like help them with a boss, and I'm like, dude, we just started. Like, this is too low level. You're not going to be able to fight something like this at level 1 unless you're incredibly just like your neuroplasticity is like level 100. You know, if you're just adapted to this game immediately, and you know the movesets just really well, or you can just, your reaction time's great. I wouldn't recommend it. It seemed like you would want to instead kind of go grind, get some levels, get some power-ups, get a familiar guy. What do they call him? I don't know. They're not familiars. That's another familiar guy, the guy with the like gladiator cart. He reminds me of the vampire in Blade, you know, the one that has control over the archives, you know, and he's shining the light on him to interrogate him, the big boy. But yeah, they gave him like a gladiator cart, and he just like charges people and tries to suck their blood. The grab attack on the Lady of the Bog, whatever this boss is called that they're fighting right now, the grab attack was super fun. You just get grabbed by that tongue and thrashed around. Typical From Software style. But yeah, there's a ton of different ways you can gain the virtue. The neat part is like each phase had a different kind of feel to it. So it's the same world. You spawn in at a different place depending on where you pick on the map. And like this is over by the clock tower. But then there's like you could spawn over by the cathedral instead. But there's another part of this that's like you'll have different events will happen like second and third times around. So like the second time you'll get is this like looping at a weird spot? Why is this like, it says it's 30 minutes long. Yeah, see, it doesn't want to play the rest of this video for some reason. Anyways, but sorry, I got a little sidetracked. I forget what I was trying to say here. Oh, each other phase, like the second and third phases, will have... I don't know if... it's not called sigils. What are they called? They're like... Pledge virtue, where you have like kind of this... like a cross, a giant neon cross that you have to go... I wonder if I could pause it and find one. Oh, and these things here, this particular thing is a kind of like power up for your kin. They're called kin. Your summons are called kin. Like this guy over here that is kind of being blocked by me is one of the kin. He's like an opera dude. You can see him kind of like singing over here, and he buffs like your character through singing, and he'll, I guess, kind of suplex some dudes sometimes or whatever. But that thing that was just there was like a power up for those kin. But the cross thing that I was trying to talk about, which I don't know if I'll be able to find here. You know, let me just do this on this side of things, because I can't seem to find what I'm looking for. This thing. So you have to hold the interact button, which on Switch is Y. And that you have to hold it for 10 seconds uninterrupted, and then you get a bunch of virtue points, but you don't, I don't think, I wasn't paying close enough attention to this, but I don't think you get them permanently. You're kind of like, it's like capture the flag almost. You have to hold on to those, and then if somebody comes in and starts to do the same thing, your pledge is at risk, and I think you may lose the virtue points. So you get like a bunch of virtue points, but you have to like kind of camp out and defend it. And so that got kind of heated sometimes, where there would be like multiple people would come in, and then they would be trying to steal the thing that I had. And sometimes like they would like win, and then I'm like, shit, then I have to teleport into a like checkpoint nearby and see if I could go get it back. But there's so many fucking mechanics in this game. It's one of the like craziest operating mechanically games that I've ever played. And maybe it's just a thing of like you spend some more time with it, like more than a weekend, like I'm getting, right, to like get used to the mechanics of it. And it becomes really fun, I'm sure. But right now, like, just even like doing the tutorial stuff, I was getting really frustrated because there would be a pop-up every like couple of seconds, because there's so many different inner working parts of this game that need to be explained. So like just getting through the tutorial kind of felt like a slog, because it's like, oh my god, there's another thing I have to read. I was trying to be patient with it at first, but then I'm like, holy fuck, there's another menu. Okay, thank you, Miyazaki. All right, let me fight this thing. And like then I get out of the menu, I'm like starting to dodge towards a wolf or whatever is attacking me. Menu, and I'm like, holy shit. Can we spread these out a little more? So it's good because I need to know how the game works, but it was just like tutorial ad nauseum. So I think inherently this isn't a pick up and play sort of thing. Like if you're looking for that and you're looking to just kind of like mindlessly button mash and figure out how to like overpower your enemies through sheer bonk stubborn bullheadedness, you're not gonna like probably enjoy this for the most part, because you gotta think about how you're gonna strategize each phase in order to survive, so you're one of the 3 people at the very end. And then it's weird because the last phase then kind of becomes, again, like I said, it was like a battle royale, and people have been kind of comparing it to like a 3D Smash Brothers, which I could kind of see. You can even yeet people off the side of the map, which is kind of neat. Like there's the senator guy. Where is he? Where's the senator dude? This guy. This senator guy, he's the one that transforms into a T-Rex, right? And he can pick people up, and I think that was even, you know, part of this whole thing earlier on. It's like he can just pick you up and yeet you off the map. Let's see. Oh, and that's one of the summons too, is like you can have a dog or a wolf. Where was that? I know I seen it. Was it somewhere here? Also, can we just appreciate this whole clock tower thing? Like, as a big Castlevania nerd, look at this. Look at how gorgeous this is. Holy shit. And then there's bats in the belfry. What are we doing? This is so cool. Like, aesthetically, this game is so goddamn up my alley, it's not even funny. And it's beautiful. It's like Bloodborne and Elden Ring and Castlevania had a baby, and I love it. It's great. Hey, lady, what's going on? Welcome in. How are you today? I'm good. I'm good. We're talking about the Duskbloods and, like, the network test that I got to be a part of and just kind of thoughts I had on it. But yeah, it's weird because I'm 100% sold on the aesthetic, obviously. I'm big into horror movies and vampires and stuff. But more just like the sweaty PvP part of this. And here's another one of those pledge virtue things that you have to, like, stand by, right? And there's the senator guy. Okay. I wanted to show that T-Rex thing again. I know most of y'all have probably seen it already, but... It does look pretty, yeah, it is pretty. It's multiplayer, there, supposedly, it says that there's, like, support for one player. I don't know how that works. Like, officially on the Switch or Nintendo Store, it says, like, 1 to 4 players or whatever it is. I don't know what it is, but there's a 1 included in there. So people have been saying, oh, it looks like they will have support for a single player later on or something, or I don't know how that's going to work. This is all just speculation, but as of right now, what I was doing primarily was online stuff. There was a tutorial that was like the intro to the game, where it felt very much like Elden Ring, where you're going through that first area of Elden Ring and you fight the Soldier of Godric, right? And they show you all the menus and tutorials there. Oh, this is really interesting too. This is an emote that he does. He says, come see. And he smacks his head against a rock because he's like some religious zealot dude. I don't know his whole thing. I think he's the one who's like cut off his eyelids, and that's why he has this mask on. I'm not 100% on that. Don't quote me on it. And so his thing is like he needs to find like a heretic. So he beats his head against this rock, and it shows him the general direction of where the heretic is, and that's that kind of trail there. I was never able to find the heretic that I was supposed to be looking for if I was this guy. But it was... it's kind of like a thing of like each character has its own sigil. And I forget what his was called. Maybe it was like the Sigil of the Heretic or something. But basically, like, you have a task that you need to do during your quest, and if you get it, you get a bunch of virtue points. And this is a really interesting one that I've never seen in, like, any other game before, is that you can propose to somebody. You can have somebody be, like, your sigil or your quest will be that you, set somebody to be your, like, betrothed, and then you can emote in front of them, give them a flower, and if they accept it, then you're essentially wedded, and then you can get a bunch of virtue points through that. So it's not everything is like fighting. A lot of it is like RPG, board game, sort of Dungeons and Dragons sort of mechanic, right? Which is really interesting, and it does allow for a little bit more like player expression and creativity, I think, but just very odd. So you have to like set out and find these people. Did you get to sue the Zeppelin arterially, or use the Zeppelin arterial? Yes, I did. I got to do the Zeppelin, what do they call it? The transmitter. So yeah, so that's one of the events. I think that only happens in the phase 3. I could be wrong. But during that phase, you'll get a number of different like world events will happen. So let me see if there's a spot for that. Upgrades. Gameplay, events. So yeah, like Wingnut was saying, there's this whole thing. You get this kind of tarot card looking thing. And this one's called Prowling Sword Lion. A Duskin specter prowls the skies. A Lodomirian, a Zeppelin bearing the crest of the Sword Lion. Without a doubt, the Earth will be engulfed in a sea of flame. So you can call in with this transmitter that they give you at the beginning of this round if you get this card. They'll give you a transmitter, and then you can target an enemy. Like this guy, I think is going to do it right now. But he finds some enemies over here, right? And then, obviously, we're not seeing the target like the From Software dot, but there's the transmitter. He calls in the airstrike, and then this Zeppelin just drops a bunch of fucking bombs on them. And I don't think it was really contingent upon, like, the Zeppelin being anywhere nearby. I don't know how that looks, if it just, like, ridiculously shoots by, like, super quick, or if it takes a second to get there. I was able to pull it off successfully twice, and those were the only 2 times that I had it. It was cool. I got, like, other PvPers and environmental, you know, enemies alike. It was cool. It was fun. But I think you only get 1 of those per that round. So that was one of the events that you can do. The other one, like they're showing here too, is that, like, oh, you need to scale the clock tower to get, to ring the bell, and that gets you a bunch of virtue points. Unfortunately, I only had this show up once, and I couldn't get to the bell tower in time. But I just, again, I have to appreciate this animation of, like, him rappelling up this thing, and the clock and everything. It's just gorgeous. And it was really cool because, like, when somebody rang the bell, it was so loud too, and you're like, oh, somebody got to it before me. So it's really weird to have this world in this context of a thing, and then, like, the very obviously, like, multiplayer coded feeling thing where you're like, oh, somebody beat me to whatever task I had, but it's this giant church bell ringing, you know? Hub World is fucking gorgeous. Like, look at this. Look at this. It's like Canehurst Castle, but pimped out and, like, really heavily saturated. There's a dummy in the yard, kind of like how you have the guy in Sekiro that will let you kind of test stuff out on him. A little bit like the Liza P courtyard too. You can just transport there from here. You don't have to physically walk outside. You can do that. But you can just press start and be like, I want to go to the courtyard and, like, beat up on this dummy. So that's cool. Real quick, while I'm on the topic of Sekiro, one of the pros that I had of this that I really liked, they brought back the fucking stagger bar from Sekiro. And the sound that they make when their stagger gets, like, initiated, or their stance gets broken, or it's like the stance bar, or what, I forget what it's called in Sekiro, but it's underneath the health bar, and they'll break, and, like, they'll get staggered, and when you do the blood suck animation, just like you would go in for a kill in Sekiro, it's like almost the exact same sound, I think. There were a couple times where there were, like, these sounds that would pop up, or a voice that I was like, oh, that's so-and-so, and that's this and that. Like, there was the gun sound was from Bloodborne, and, like, the villagers shooting at you and shit. I could have sworn that one of the passive summons, the kin, there's, like, a snake girl, and I'm almost certain that it was the doll from Bloodborne, whoever voices the doll from Bloodborne, because she had some voice lines, and I was like, that's gotta be the fucking doll. So that was cool. Any character customization in the network test? No, none at all. And there's a book in this area. See off to the very right-hand side, right here? There's a giant withered book, and it looks... I was like, is that the Necronomicon? It looks like a giant Necronomicon. And apparently that's where you can do character customization. This is kind of, like, all over the place. Hey, Klutz, by the way, I meant to say hi. So forgive me if it's, like, not just pros and cons. But there's just so much to keep track of that I'm just going to give it to you in the most, like, scatterbrained way possible. The menu here with Dusk Battle to, like, go into an online match, the casual match thing, if you select that, it will give you the option. I'll see if they'll show that here. They're not going to, but, it'll give you the option of, what was it? It was like, you could either do normal match, you could do no alliances, which means you can't form any alliances with people. Duh. Or there's one that's like, I don't know if it's like sworn alliance or something, but it was a more permanent thing where you form an alliance with somebody from the beginning and that pact cannot be broken. Because normally how alliances work in this is that you request that somebody is your, like, ally. They either agree or disagree, but if they agree, then you can team up on other people and get virtue points together. With the caveat being that the Phase 4, the last, like, Battle Royale, where there's only 3 people, that alliance is broken, because now we're all trying to get the moon tiers or whatever it is, right? So that was really interesting, but, like, I felt like the dynamic of that became very apparent, because you'd, like, run into these people and you'd be like, oh, I'm gonna fight this guy. And you're like, Phase 2, Phase 3, you're kind of leveled up now, so you think you can handle it. And then you just get ganked by, like, 2 people that you didn't realize were in cahoots with one another. So that kind of sucked, and honestly, like, I mean, maybe skill issue on my part. Form more alliances. Maybe that's what you could argue. But for me, I was just like, I kept trying to find matches where there were no alliances. Because I'm like, I don't want to get ganked by 2 people right now. But apparently there is a mode, like I said, there's like a permanent alliance thing, where you can do an ongoing alliance where they'll somehow allow 2 people to win at the end. I don't know how that works. It seems super imbalanced. Because, like, what, then, like, 2 people are just beating up on 1 person at the end? That makes no sense to me. But I never got that scenario, so I don't really know. Oh, and there's all the sigil stuff that kind of determines what sort of side quest you're going on. Or, like, I guess not even a side quest, it's like your main quest for the run. The matches are, like, with all 4 phases included, apparently are around, like, 30 minutes. I think that was pretty consistent for me. What else here? I guess I could just let it play. Oh, so here's, like, the accept request. You can accept, like, somebody's fighting a boss right now, and so it'll just call you in from wherever you are. Now, if you either beat the boss or you die, you'll just go right back to where you were before. So that's cool. There's Zork with his 1 brain cell just doing the cool bonk move. The jetpack bonk move. I played a little with Tran Lan, or whatever her name is, this girl. And the weird thing that she has in her hands, the, like, projectile thing, the circular thing, it was cool, but I think most of her stuff is, like, if you wanted to have more of a passive playstyle and you want to, like, do stealth and be invisible, that's her, like, main thing, is, like, she goes kind of somewhat transparent, invisible. Better than the Cat Dust and Liza P, but, like, not fully invisible, right? She can kind of, like, use that to an advantage where you go, like, if you had this cross here, the, like, pledge virtue thing, you could use her invisibility while there's other people engaged in battle trying to, like, fight it out for who gets the pledge virtue thing. And you can sneak around them being invisible and then, like, go and kind of capture the flag on this thing while they're distracted. So that's a method of play. There's a bunch of different ways of approaching this, but the ultimate goal is, like, get enough virtue points so that you're in the running for the last 3, and then you can fight the last 3 people. This, I didn't quite understand this mechanic. I think it's like if you hold that, you get There's red and gold. I don't remember what they're called, but like you grab one of these, and I think if you have the red one, I want to say that means that if you kill another opponent, it means that you get more virtue points for killing another opponent. But there's a gold one, and I don't know what the gold one does, because again, there are so many fucking mechanics with this game that it like kind of makes my head spin to like try and remember all of it. I think that this is a game that would benefit from spending a lot of time in it and really getting to know the mechanics to the point where it's like you're not even thinking about them. You're just like, oh, okay, I know what to do when I see this red post, or I know what to do when I see the gold post. But as a like first timer, it was very overwhelming. Like there's so many like I think Miyazaki said something about like his love for board games and shit, and like that's a big part of this. It leans a little bit more in the direction of like almost too much for me, but that I think it could get better with more practice, like anything. But there were a lot of mechanics to this, but again, it allowed for a lot of creativity if you wanted to get a little weird with it. Also worth mentioning, like that whole thing here that he was doing, you can do 1, 2, 3, 4 jumps and then a dash. So like going across a clearing, normally you'd be like, I can't make that gap, but if you space out your jumps right and then dash at the end, you can clear these big chasms and shit, which is really cool. And a lot of times there's, not a lot of times, but some of the times there's like a pole that you can like rappel up. So that's interesting, you know. At the end, you just get to the end of this whole sequence and then like hook on this pole and then go up. I'm trying to remember if there's anything else. Lots of ways to earn different virtue points. Okay, so one of the things that I liked about it was that as much as the aesthetic, I think, has a lot of Bloodborne to it, it's very much not Bloodborne. And, like, that could be looked at as a bad thing, because some of us maybe were kind of anticipating this being like Bloodborne. It's not. It's way more like Night Rain. But I'm also kind of glad for that, because Bloodborne's like my favorite game. I don't want to have something that I'm like continuously trying to compare to it. It has the Bloodborne window dressing, but this is way more spiritually in line with Night Rain. But I still feel like it's even different than that. So, because I mean, I kind of like Night Rain. I'll probably go back to it at some point and play it again a little bit more and see if I can get some bosses. Try out the solo thing again. But this definitely, it's weird because it feels like a hodgepodge of so many of their previous games all together. Like, I feel like the world feels like it's Bloodborne and Elden Ring in one, at least this map. And then the dodging is from Bloodborne, kind of, because it's more of like a quick, you know, hop and a skip than it is a roll. There's the posture bar, the stagger bar from Sekiro. And then there's what else? There was something else that was like, oh, that's like another one of their games. I'm just kind of like the traversal of the levels is like Night Rain, because you're like running. You've got the fast run like you have in Night Rain. It's weird. I'm kind of confused by it, because again, I will be buying this. I did like it enough that I will buy it. There's a roar parry to be real honest about that, I think I maybe had it land successfully once. They really should figure out a different, like, dedicated button for that. I'll get to this in a second. Because the button combo is like, if I'm doing it here, the button combo is left and RZ. So you have to do this and this. It's like, it's not like these two, it's like this. And in the middle of like fast-paced combat, it just feels awkward. I didn't see other people using it very much either. It just feels clunky and fucking weird, and like it's not like a Sekiro, Lies of P, Bloodborne parry where it's like down to the wire of like when you're gonna get hit with something. It's more like a Dark Souls or Elden Ring parry, which if you watched me on this channel, you know I don't really fucking like that parry. I don't like anticipating that there's gonna be an attack that I have to like press way in advance. I like the like lightning fast, immediate sort of parry like Liza P has. Hey, C, what's going on? Welcome in. How are you? But yes, that is a thing that you can do. You can do the roar parry. If you can land it, you know, good luck. I also don't know with like online if there's like any lag that, you know, is like contributing to that not landing the right way. Or if the window could be like widened or something. I'm not sure. I don't know how much like they're taking input on any sort of mechanical stuff of how the game operates. Any sort of input on that, or if it's just like, hey, tell us if our game like doesn't work. Check the clock, 4:20. So I don't know if there's going to be a feedback form where I can say like, you know, this is kind of weird, or hey, like, why is the roar so like weirdly spaced out on the controller? But okay, so this whole Cold by Dusk thing, that's like you've been cut from the roster. So like this is the end of phase 3. This person, whoever's playing as Layla, didn't get enough virtue points, and there's 3 other people that had more than her. So then she gets cold, and then they go on to do the Battle Royale. Unfortunately, I got pretty familiar with this screen, and it was few and far between that I got to the last round. Again, the furthest I was able to get online was 2nd place, and I did that twice, and I was fucking pissed every time, because I was like, God damn it, I was so close. I did get it on the, you know, the computer version, the tutorial. Like, they give you a couple tutorials that are like essentially a match, but with computers. I was able to win that match, but the online thing is very sweaty with the type of people that are playing these games. Which is like, I kind of understand that too, because it's the people that are really into From Software games who have been probably playing them for a while, and a select few of them got this network test. So of course it's going to be like the fucking really dedicated diehard dudes that are like probably way more skilled than I am at this, you know. It's still fun. It's just like, holy shit, like there's a lot of like instinctual things that I think even without this game being out and them having like a ton of time to practice, they just inherently understand these games on a level that's like even more than I understand them, which is kind of wild. What were the other things that I was going to say? Because I had a couple different notes. I am excited to talk about this because it was a very unique experience. It was very weird. Okay, so this is like the last round where like 3 people get to go on. Unfortunately, they took a cue from the Lies of P people that like put something on screen and don't give you enough time to read it. It's like, I kept trying to read these, and it was like, it would just fly by. Moonblood bestow final battle on the night of dusk. The Grail beckons the Bloodsworn, but the moon tears will flow for one and one alone. So that's the ultimate goal, is you're getting like the moon tears in a Grail at the end of the fight. provided you're the victor. I would like to know more of the lore of this game, like, so I understand what the motivation is for each of these characters and stuff too to get it, but this is where it gets like more battle royale. I'm not sure if that's, yeah, they're gonna show that. So I think a lot of people saw just like this footage and they're like, we waited how long for a game that's just in a tiny room and it's a battle royale? It's like, no, this is the last part of the match. The other thing too, there's that the shield, which I'm not much of a shield user anyways, so I didn't find myself interacting with that much. It feels like it's kind of sluggish to get it out and have it actually do anything at the right moment. It's not super responsive to me. That could just be me. Again, could just be skill issue. But it felt kind of clunky. But as we know, shields engender passivity, so don't use a shield. There's the dude's ultimate thing where he can just throw you off the side. And that did happen to me. See, he did run at me and do that. And I feel like that move and the Zork move where he like barrels at you with his jetpack, those two are very similar because like when the dude turns into a T-Rex, it just barrels right at you and you better like get the fuck out of the way quick because he'll just grab you and toss you. I don't know if he has much control over which direction it tosses you, but I guess if you're close enough to the edge, it's gonna probably just toss you out anyways. But these moves too, let me see if I can do this, go back to this one. So this thing that, what's his name? I wanted to say Lance. What is his name? Hunter? What the fuck is a... Ralph? What's the fucking guy's name? I don't know. The main guy. The anime hair in front of the eyes protagonist guy. Chet. Yeah, let's say Chet. So when Chet here does this move, it's like a light beam that comes out, and it does a fuck ton of damage. But again, it's one of those that, like, you don't get it until a certain... You don't get it until a certain, like, level. So it's, like, only for, like, phase 2, 3, or, 4 if you make it there. And he doesn't land it here, but it's super cool when you do, and it just stun locks them, and like you watch like half of their health bar go away. And then this guy, the axe guy, Pajama Man, has like his ultimate thing does all these different like blood AoE shit. This thing looks super cool. But again, that's like, you have to level up enough to get that. There are those like crystal lizard things that you can get, and you can actually get a power-up that says like, level requirement for such and such move, like this ultimate move, lower. So you could pick that instead of like a, like sort of, attack up buff. You could get like, oh, I want to be able to use this move sooner. Then you could choose that upgrade instead of like a passive sort of healing mechanic or just general attack buff. So that's kind of interesting. Again, a lot of like choice that you have to like pick what you want to do. The problem is like, for somebody who has as much like option paralysis as I do, it's kind of a lot. There's so much going on, and there's so much shit to manage. This boss was super cool. Oh, and there's like... Fuck, there's like... Were they called Elite Trespassers? I forget what they were called. Superior Trespasser? There's like Trespassers, which are bosses, essentially. And I want to say it was like Superior Trespasser or something, which is like... You probably don't want to go here very early because you're gonna die. I don't know if they're showing any of them, but there was even one that I think was just a regular Trespasser that was like the vampire, but it was with a Y, vampire. And that thing was like, it was like Moon Presence and Blood-Starved Beast had a baby. And it was cool. The design of it was cool looking. It had like the exposed rib cage, you know, like Moon Presence has. But yeah, like that thing was super aggressive. But one of the things that you got at the end of beating him was successive attacks will like heal you, which is not something inherently you have. So that was like, oh, I was like, oh, I love that. Please give me that, because that incentivizes me to play aggressively like I like playing Bloodborne. Because then I can just get in that ass and start like slashing people, and it's going to be healing me, which is super cool. I saw it. So there's one of the Bloodsack crystal lizard things. See that down there on the left-hand side? That's one of those little goblin Bloodsack dudes, and those are your like upgrade crystal lizard things, Wandering Madness or whatever. Was there something more con that I had about this? Because there was a lot I liked about it, but there was a lot that I was like, ugh. The movement feels kind of floaty, but I mean, that's kind of to be expected with being able to quadruple jump and drift. I will say, trying this in handheld mode, the performance was decent, but it felt maybe a little bit like, I don't know if I had like input delay or something. Hey, Lovebun. I don't know if I had input delay or something. It just didn't feel quite as good as playing with the Switch 1 Pro controller. And the button layout felt even more awkward on the Joy-Cons. I will say that. It was like, it was taking me a second to like adjust, and I kept hitting jump instead of run. Again, skill issue, whatever. But it just felt like the layout was a little funky doing it handheld. It's nice that I have that option, but I don't envision myself wanting to play this in handheld unless I absolutely have to. There was like a weird thing I noticed at one point, and I don't know if it was just like the guy had the right power-ups or whatever, but there was a Zork player, again, that managed to, either him or his familiar, the kin, like managed to stagger me. And when he did that, you know, you get the like red dot like you get in Sekiro, and then you just perform like a regular light attack and it gives you the bloodsuck animation, right? Which heals you if you're the bloodsucker, and then it damages them, obviously. Whenever I would do the bloodsuck animation, it would drain a lot of their health, but it usually wouldn't kill them. It was like immediate. He grabbed me, did the bloodsuck animation, dead. Like one-shotted me with it. And I like, it was confusing to me because it's like, that's not how that performs for me at all. It gets them very close to dying, but like, it was just odd. So I don't know if that was just dumb luck or if he had the right upgrades or whatever. This is a small thing, but like when I was playing and trying to go through menus, it's much like a Souls game where you can press start and the game is still going in the background, obviously because you're like online, you can't stop everything. So it operates in that same way, which is like, if you're familiar with the game, you can maybe get through things quicker, but it's like, I can't run while I have the menu open, but there's all this crazy shit happening around me that kind of makes it so I need to be able to, like, be mobile. So I really felt like I could only get into the start menu if I, like, did quadruple jump and drift somewhere else that was, like, less populated, and then I could get into the start menu for a second and either place a marker on the map or switch something around. I'm trying to remember what I was trying to do. There was something that I needed to switch around, or I needed to go to like one of the fast travel locations, because there's like these different points on the map that you can just from wherever you are, you can just travel there because you want to for the fuck of it. Which is cool. Especially if you find yourself in an area where, like, there's nothing happening over here. There's no items, there's no enemies. I'm kind of in no man's land right now. I'm gonna go somewhere where it's more poppin' and there's more stuff happening. So you can do that. But, like, again, if you're trying to do that sort of shit and there's, like, enemies around, for one, it won't let you do that if you're in the middle of combat. But just trying to, like, do any of that sort of shit with how the buttons are laid out and how they want you to navigate those menus, it felt a little bit clunky to me, personally. Like, maybe the button layout could be, like, better, or I don't know how you would optimize it, but it just feels kind of awkward. That being said, I don't think I have, like, a ton more notes. Was anybody curious about anything specific? I know Wingnut was asking some questions, but, if anybody had any, like, specific questions about how the game operated, I'm happy to answer with what little knowledge I have. The frog is a real creepy thing. It is. It is indeed. There's a lot of creepy things in this. I did like this, was it a panther or something? I forget what it was. Evil puma. This was cool. So, like, on the map, there's these kind of smithing stone things. I don't know exactly what this is supposed to be physically, but I was just looking at it as, like, it's like a smithing stone, but it's like a weapon buff thing, and when you spawn in on the map, or, like, you pick a spot to spawn in, you can kind of strategize that by one of the 4 quadrants, picking which one has, like, red means flame, yellow means electricity, green means poison, gray means iron, which I would assume is similar to, like, the raw upgrade in, like, Dark Souls 3 or whatever. I'm not sure, but, like, I would assume that's what it is like, when you get those that just, like, make your weapon sharp or raw or whatever it is, there's that sort of buff, but then there's also elemental, so there's, like, fire, there's poison, there's electricity, and they're labeled on the map in these 4 quadrants, so you can spawn in somewhere looking for this sort of thing. And I actually got lucky. One of the times that I did it, I just happened upon, I wasn't even looking for them, but I found, like, 3 iron upgrades, like, in a row, which I was like, holy shit, nice. Do the projectiles do viable damage? You can get, from those little, like, blood sac creatures, you can get things that, like, make your projectile attack go up. So a lot of times I would opt for that, because if I'm in the middle of battle and, like, things are getting heated and I need to, like, do something ranged because I don't have enough health, I don't have any healing items, like, I went for that so that I'd have at least another option, because I'm gonna be real, I keep forgetting the dude's name. Hugo? What's the main dude's name? Albert. Albert has the, I think it's like the SMG or whatever, the gun that he has. Which I was trying to figure out the animation for his gun. I'm like, is he putting his saber into the trigger finger thing and firing the gun with his sword? Because he does something with his sword afterwards. I was trying to figure out what the fucking animation was. It was really weird. But he fires, he has, like, a magazine of, like, 40 bullets, and then he needs to reload. And you can either manually reload, or you can just press the gun button when you're at 0 and it will automatically reload. But he fires, like, 8 at a time, so you can't just hold it down. You can't just, like, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. It's like, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Right? It's not like you can just, like, go through the whole magazine, right? So it's weird. It's more just like, they're not like the rubber bullets in Bloodborne, but they're not great either still. Miyazaki, I guess, just lives in some fantasy land where bullets, like, can't really, like, kill you that much. It's odd. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the thinking is, but yeah. I don't. I will say the like blood projectile thing that Albert does, that kind of looks like. I guess it. I didn't fuck with Rivers of Blood that much in Elden Ring, but I would assume that's kind of like the slash projectile sort of thing that does. It also reminded me of like Ludwig's boss move that he does in second phase, you know, with the sword, with the Holy Moonlight sword, and he's like, and like it fires those off. I guess Malekith's like that too in Elden Ring. It reminded me of that. And those did decent damage, and you can level that up as well too. Are there permanent player character upgrades, or is it from scratch every session? I think it's from scratch every session. I'd be curious to know, like, if you have this, you know, in its finished format. I like this guy's projectiles; they're sweet. Can we see the blood sack guy up close? Look, see, it's literally like a goblin, dude. There's his face and his hood. Do you see that? I think that's one of the coolest designs. It's so gross, but like, look at him. He's like, it's not like a bug this time or a lizard. It's literally like a little goblin guy with a hood, little red hood. He's like a little mini Slave Knight Gale with a giant blood boil on his on his back. Ew. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's like that. Each session is like, you start from scratch and you just have to build it up through the different rounds. And again, like phase 1, like I think is pretty much understood. Like you're supposed to go upgrade and get stuff. Was that like that was totally like a pungent blood cocktail or something? I think that's, or an alluring skull or whatever this game's equivalent of that is. I think it draws like other enemies to that. I didn't really interact with that this time, but oh, and yeah, by the way, yeah, you don't, if you do this, don't be a dummy like me and think that like your own fire is not going to hurt you, because if you go in that, it will hurt you. Even if you threw it, it doesn't matter. You are going to get hurt from walking through your own fire. It doesn't matter that you threw it. I guess I was thinking like video game logic. I'm like, that's mine. No, it's fire. So we saw that. I think towards the end I was starting to get more comfortable with the movement of it, because at first I was like, I didn't quite think about timing my jumps. I was just kind of like mashing the jump button at the beginning, just like really getting trigger happy with the fact that I could quadruple jump and then dash. But if you have a bigger chasm that you can jump across, you can like kind of space them out more correctly, and you can clear most things. And by the end of it, I was feeling like way more comfortable with that mechanic of how this game operates. No fall damage also, so you can jump from like really big heights like that. Also, this weapon that Zork has is apparently like an undersea cable. This was like the most wacky fucking thing that they could have picked for a weapon for him. So that's why it has like electricity when you do the heavy. But yeah, he's tanky and like moves super slow. He's like the Havel character. I like even the way that that's curved reminds me of that like dragon tooth fang or whatever it is in Dark Souls. I bet you they like just modeled it after Havel. So they just pulled the Large Fathers from Rapture? I'm gonna nod and pretend I know what you're talking about. Is there anything else I wanted to touch on? BioShock? Oh! There's the Lady of the Bog. I think I pretty much touched on everything. Oh, let me look at this map real quick, though, because this is one of the few spots in this that they show you the map. So see, like, this green thing means that there's a smithing station that will imbue your weapon with poison. This one means that there's a smithing station that imbues your weapon with iron. Where's the other ones? Are there... Oh no, there's the red one, so that's fire. And then... I don't know where the electricity one is. I can't see it. But then this icon, I think, too, this like little red dot here, that means that there's a high concentration of those blood sac creatures. So if you wanted to do a bunch of like leveling and like quality of life stuff for your build, you could go where one of these is and find like a bunch of those little dudes and farm them for a second. I think that's the same up here too. But yeah, this map even kind of looks like Elden Ring a little bit. It's such a weird combo of like everything they've done before. I don't hate it. I will say that. I don't hate it. I am going to buy it. I hope it's not like a fucking $80 game. That would be ridiculous. Apparently it's going to release with 3 maps. This is just one of them. I do like this map a lot. It's very, like, the aesthetic of it is very cool. Oh, this was an interesting mechanic. So this, like, yellow area with these crosses, those were those pledge virtue stations, right? That kind of capture the flag game. You would go into this yellow area, the box area, which in this case is like the cathedral. And you would have to duke it out with the other players and grab the pledge thing if you can. But if you leave this area, you take a penalty and you start to have like gradual health drain as you're out of this area and that event is happening. So once you like enter this and you're like, oh, I'm gonna go do this thing, you have to be ready to just like stay there, because the minute you're out of it, your health starts draining. So it's interesting. It's like they're like, yeah, you're not gonna pussy out of this. You have to go back in. Was the Majora's Mask moon they showed off in the trailer unique to a particular map, or is it just a random world event? I have no clue about that one, actually. Or if, like, that character that was shown with the moon that's, like, that, like, mage-looking, kind of androgynous-looking character with the white hair, or nun-looking, mage or nun, I don't know if that's a playable character or what. I did not see that moon. I have no idea what that moon is about. I would assume it is an event, but who knows? For all I know, it could be a intruder. What do they call them? Trespasser, like the bosses. But I would assume that's a world event. Oh, there was a really weird world event too that would, and I didn't quite understand what was happening. But it was a lightning storm. So just like you would get like the Zeppelin tarot card, and you get the ability to like carpet bomb a bunch of people, you would also get like there's one of them was called the Blood Sac Gala, and it was like you would just find a bunch of blood sac enemies in one area, and you could like farm them and get a bunch of upgrades. But one of the events again was this lightning thing, and it would go like, you would see the lightning start to like build up on your body, and it was cool because it was like this animation of like something weird is happening to my character, and they're just like buzzing with electricity more and more, and then it just like shocks you and the screen goes black, and then you get swapped with another player. And I think it's like you're still in your body. I don't I couldn't tell by the wording when they were talking about it initially. And there's so many things to keep track of. I was like, what does that even mean? I swap with another place. It's like, is this a Freaky Friday thing where suddenly I'm like playing as them? Or is it just we swapped places geographically? And I think that that's what was happening. Is more like, oh, they were in this part of the map. I was in this part of the map. The lightning happened. And boom, we got swapped places. I think that that's what... castling? Is that what that's called? Anyways, they... In chess? Okay. When they swapped, it was funny because one of the times the lightning happened, I could almost picture this happening to the other character, but I got swapped with somebody that was in front of, like, it was something that was going to earn me either a bunch of upgrades or it was like a bunch of virtue points. And I could just picture them being like, oh fuck, the lightning's coming, trying to get to this thing at the very last minute and failing, and then I just get spawned in right where all these upgrades or like virtue points were. So that was kind of hilarious because like, oh, that poor bastard. That poor bastard was probably trying so hard to make it just in time before the lightning struck, didn't make it, and then I got to take all of his shit, you know? Which was kind of mean, but it was kind of random too, so it's not like anybody did it to another person. These red spots on the map, these footprints, that's like the last known location of another player. I did like going in these sewers. The sewers were very Bloodborne-y. It felt like Central Yharnam sewers. And there's even there's kind of like an elite enemy beastman type of thing that was it was kind of a cross between the beastmen in Old Yharnam, Gascoigne's second phase, and then like something from Elden Ring, like one of the, I don't know, there's like wandering beast people in Elden Ring, I think, too. Trying to think if there's anything else interesting. These are these warp points, so if these are lit up like this and it's not just a circle, you can, like, if you're here and you're like not finding a bunch of shit, or I would find myself sometimes on these like outskirts and I'm like, there's nothing out here, I've already cleared this area. You can just press start. Again, the game is still happening behind you, so you have to watch out that you're not getting hit while you're in this menu. But if you're fast enough, you can just press start, grab one of these, and it'll like transport you. You do have iframes when you're doing stuff like getting a weapon buff, like this sort of thing. So I was worried about that. I'm like, am I going to be able to have iframes while I, you know, touch this thing that's going to give me a weapon upgrade? Yes. But again, for something like this, like, kind of sort of, I don't know if Capture the Flag is the best comparison, but I'm just going to keep calling it that. This Virtue Pledge thing, you don't have iframes for that, obviously, because you're in the middle of this animation, this like almost make contact gesture, and you have to hold it for 10 seconds. But if you get shot or, you know, smacked around with a giant undersea cable, or like pummeled from behind by some fucking asshole in a jetpack, then yeah, you're gonna be knocked out of it. Can you tell I don't like Zork? Holy shit. I was memeing about that. I was like, everybody was like rallying around Zork. And I was like, oh, it's kind of cute, you know? And now I see him and I'm just like PTSD immediately. The game isn't even out and I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ, not Zork. And you know what's funny is I got in a couple matches where it was like, I'd look at the map, I'm like, fuck, there's 3 Zorks in this room. There's 3 Zork dorks in this room. You really don't like Zork? I don't know, maybe I'll come around to him. Maybe I'll learn how to play with him and I won't be such a hater. But right now, oh my god, the majority of enraging deaths that I got in this game, 90% of them were from a fucking Zork dork. 90% of them. The rest of them, I'm like, okay, well played. I wish they would have shown... I wish I could show you more of the other, like, bosses, the other trespassers, because, like, the vampire one, the vampire, that one was super cool. I do like those, was it Nikki? Whatever, the, like, Crystallian-looking ones with the dual-wielding saw blade, or whirligig saw things. So there can be a lobby full of one character? I mean, hypothetically, I guess so. Just like Zork Party. There's just a million Zorks in there. I did like this area. Feels like very callback to the Gehrman fight in Bloodborne. With all the white flowers. That's cool. Oh, so that's sword virtue. So how many virtue did... Okay. I'm still trying to figure out what numbers mean what. Does this mean he has 24 virtue overall? You can't see any of the HUD in this gameplay, so like... It really helps to see the HUD, and even then I'm like, there's still a lot to learn. There should be an achievement for being in all Zork group called Adventure 2. Is this another niche reference I need prior context to understand? And then there's the gold things. I don't remember what the gold is. There's red and there's gold. Red is like more points for killing. Yeah. Niche, it's the first 2 RPGs in the world? Okay. Well then not niche, but just like, I don't know. Text-based. It's also 2026. I don't remember stuff that I didn't grow up with. Not necessarily, you know, at least. It's a lot later than that. I know a lot of shit about 60s music, but that's because I have a huge, like, investment into that. You kids these days don't have any cultural history? Yeah, well, I guess I shouldn't play any RPG ever past The Amazing Adventure and Zork text-based from way back. Was this like 1983? What was it? I just realized those are kind of like swords in the ground. That's cool. Yeah, so overall it's been a good experience. It's just been kind of like chaotic. It hasn't been like 24 people in a Mario Kart lobby chaotic, but it's been chaotic. Giant mesmer snake? I believe... Who's that? Who's that does that? But yes, you did. Where was that? There's just so many mechanics to learn, and... Oh, apparently I needed to go back further, I guess. Maybe? 1976, jeez. Where was that snake? Was it back here? Oh, there we go, yeah. Oh, so was that Tran Lan, or whatever her name is? That's one of her abilities, is to summon the snake. She's a snake charmer. I don't know if that's one of her abilities or like what the deal was there, but it looked like she was casting that, so... I played with that character like once or twice, and I was kind of annoyed by the low DPS that I was just like, I'm not a sneaky enough person for this build to be viable for me. I like how you can see Bloodhand Jan's trails. Look at this. You can see his spots where he's been jumping. That's cool. But again, like aesthetically, even color palette wise, oh, it's so cool. It's so cool. And everything feels like really clear as far as like points of interest, atmospheric lighting that's like supposed to be taking you from place to place subconsciously. I feel like From Software does that really well. and this game is no different there. But yeah, that's the ability I was talking about. Like, this projectile does decent damage. The one I was saying is like Ludwig's like move, or the what is it? Rivers of Blood or whatever. That's what the Rivers of Blood one looks like, right? And you can power that up, of course, too. Yeah. That's pretty much it. Like, I don't really have a ton else to say without playing it more. I wish I would have been able to beat one of these last final battle royales. Unfortunately, I only did that in the tutorial, which, yeah. Rob is, Rivers of Blood is stationary. Oh, like you can't be moving with it at the same time? Yeah, I guess so, huh? I'm trying to think back to what that one looks like, but yeah. Oh, and that's like one of the... Wow, the Kin has that kind of move? Shit, that's crazy. I didn't see this guy pull this move off, but the like, summoner dude here? That's insane. I never got that guy as a summon. I did get the dude in the cart. I got the big boy in the cart. He was fun. I got him like a lot at first, and then today I didn't get him once, so it was really weird. I did like the dual blade girl Nia. She was cool. She was super cool. The wolf was cool. That wolf. I wonder if From Software was like tired of all the super tryhard people and gatekeepy people, was like, hey, if you're gonna be no summons, we're gonna make it so that, like, you're gonna have to summon in this game. Because, like, it would be really stupid, I feel like, to not get a summon and go through this and try and make it to the end, just to be around, like, essentially 4 other people. And you're, like, one person instead of, like, 2 people. Ooh. Suck that blood. The blood suck animation is pretty sick, too. I gotta say, it's cool. Overall, it felt like it ran really nice. Like, it's funny because, like, people were getting all pissed about the network test the night before that, like, didn't happen on Friday. Which, like, I was up at, 3 a.m. for that, and I got disappointed too, but it's like they wanted to test the network load, probably, and they figured out what, like, was going to be required, and then they came through, and, like, I didn't really have any issues as far as, like, being able to, like, have a smooth experience. Did you get to read in-game character lore in the network test? I did, but I had the ability to, but I did not, because I felt like I had limited time, and I only wanted to do so much lore explanation or exploration when I knew I'd probably be able to see VodiVidya lore breakdown video incoming immediately, Like, I'm sure he's picking that apart, and there will be a video on that. And I wanted to spend the time here, like, getting as used to the mechanics as I could, so that I might have a good time. I would like to end on a win. There's 2 more options for me to... There's 2 more opportunities for me to play this. One of them's tonight at, like, 3 a.m. if I wanted to try that again. Or there's one tomorrow from, like, 7 to 11 p.m. So... It's up in the air. I might do it again, because I'd like to win. I'd like to win one of the matches and then move on. But yeah, see, that gets you like 6 virtue. That I think that's a strat. Is just like trying to find all the chairs with these corpses in it. I think is like a solid strategy. So. We didn't get this character, the Tom Hiddleston character. With the leather-bound Tom Hiddleston. But that's Nia. I think that's that Nia summon that I was talking about. And those are the summoning portals. So the other thing too with these summoning portal things is like the top of them will tell you what kind it is. And I can't remember exactly which is which, but this I think is like a blade summon. So that's going to summon somebody like Nia. And then there's another one that's a different type. And then there's an eye one that they say is like, oh, these are like the peculiar summons that will do like weird things. So I think the two that I got from that eye-shaped summon were Big Boy in the Cart, and then the snake girl who's like your healer. So she would like passively heal you in the middle of battle. So she's not going to do any damage, but like that's another strat you could take is like, I don't want to have a summon that attacks people. I want to have a summon that heals me passively while I'm fighting like one of these trespasser bosses or like I'm PvPing somebody, you know. So that's like phase 1 you would want to pick one of these so that summon, that kin is like leveling up the entire time. I think, again, there's so much to keep track of that it's like it makes my head spin trying to like know any of this stuff for certain. This is just at least what my perception was of it playing. So yeah, there's Nia, I think. So yeah, overall very cool. I applaud From Software for like trying something new and different, because it feels unlike anything I've ever played. Like, it does feel like it's one of those highly competitive online things. Oh, that's the guy that I was saying kind of looks like one of the Beastmen in Gascoigne, second phase Gascoigne. But yeah, I applaud them for trying something different, even if it's not 100% my cup of tea. It's unique, and I don't think I've ever played anything quite like this. And it's probably the thing I'm most drawn towards as far as like an online multiplayer focused experience than I've ever been into with those sort of games. I think definitely more so than Night Rain, because this is like aesthetically more my cup of tea than Night Rain is too. So that's that. Those are my thoughts. If you have any comments, let me know. But that's about that. And with that, I'm going to go take a quick break, use the bathroom, and then we'll be back on for some Last Faith in a second. Okay? See y'all in just a moment.